What's going on, y'all? This is L'Oreal with the Morning Hustle, and I have the pleasure of sitting down with Roc Nation's newest signee, and he is a singer. And when I say he sings, he sings, he sangs. Okay, Sh- Dixon, what's going on?
How are you? So good to be here.
I'm so happy to be sitting here talking with you. I got a chance to check out your single. I listened to another track that was a little older, and I learned a lot about you. So I want some of the people to get to know a little bit more about you too. So first and foremost, you got to help me out with something. So I seen that you were a vocal arranger, right, for
Okay.
Chance, Kirk Franklin, and also Vic Mensa. Now I heard a lot of terms in my life. What the hell is a vocal arranger?
Uh, so a vocal arranger is another type of record producer. Basically, we either provide an arrangement for the vocals behind the artist, or we
Mhm.
work directly with the artist to give you the vocal that you hear on the record.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So kind of not necessarily like laying the track down, but you're guiding them to get the track down.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
Sometimes you got to.
sometimes you got to lay the track down too, and then they work with that too. So it's a lot of different ways to do it.
So is it safe to say we might hear you on a few records in the background and not have even noticed?
Yeah, for
Okay,
100%, you can say that.
that's amazing because that means you're getting them good checks.
We try to do what we can.
I know that's right. Well, you also produced half of Chance the Rapper's album, and now this is production, right? Not just vocal.
This is production, and when we say half, like I produced it with a lot of people at the same
Mhm.
time. So I'm credited on over half of Chance's album, the last project, The Big Day, as a producer. But there's a million of us that helped make that possible. So I don't want to take all the credit, but
Right.
I definitely am credited on over half of Chance's project.
That's amazing. Did you talk to him like Kanye and say, sit down and listen to the album till I'm finished, or it wasn't like that?
No, 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 no. I respect Chance a lot, man. They've really opened some doors for me. So I would never talk to my friends like that.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think he's a dope person. I think he's a dope artist. And he actually I guess you could say like he mixes a little bit of like the gospel in his work and stuff like that. And you actually came out of the church and started in the church.
Yeah.
How was that, or how is that transition now? Because you're singing about cream, and we know you're talking about a woman with that. So how is that transitioning for you to go from like a gospel background to being a little freaky now?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Church people be freaky
I
too.
know that's right.
You gotta tell, we just telling the truth. So, it's been an interesting transition. Not something that I wasn't expecting. It wasn't like an abrupt change for me. I always kind of knew. I always had my hand in both places. Even when I was fully in the church, I was always producing records in Atlanta for what they would consider secular artists. So it really wasn't a big jump for me. These are all my friends. They all still love me for who I am, over in the church. And I just like making the music that I like to make. I'm a grown up now. It's a big
Right.
difference from back in the day. So I'm grown. I want to talk about some grown things. I'm a man. I deal with man stuff every day.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's time for me to make those type of records, and I feel like the R&B that I make is standing out because I'm not afraid to talk about it.
And that's 100% true. One thing I did hear you say was like most of these R&B records, especially the male ones, always come from the perspective of a man and like what a man thinks of the situation. But you're more so thinking, how a woman, or how is a woman looking at the situation, and you're kind of breaking it down a little different, than everybody else. So another thing I read is that, Jermaine Dupri, you ran from Atlanta, was kind of one person that you looked at and you're like, okay, I see how he broke down his music. Now let me create my own sound.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you? And was it like frustrating? Because I know it takes a while sometimes for people to find their sound.
Yeah, I mean, I am lucky to be from a city that has so many classic eras of music.
Right.
And JD is definitely one person that I looked at. I've been fortunate. My cousin, worked very close with JD, so I got to be around growing up.
Hmm.
And they just, being around them, being around like a Brian Michael Cox, like all of these people have pushed me to discover my sound. Atlanta's always in me. Like everywhere I go. I don't live in Atlanta right now, but I'm there all the time to visit my family.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I sit down to make records, I go back in the archives and I usually land on something from my city that inspired me, whether it's an Usher record or, it's Tiny and Candy and all of
Right.
them. Like, these are just staples of my community. Like, and I love that music. I live that music. I am that music. I'm a product of it. So I can't really run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta kind of is my sound, but I'm inspired by a lot of stuff. I'm inspired by the soul records of the '70s. I'm inspired by '90s R&B with just straight up crooning. So finding my sound wasn't very difficult. I'm a product of everything I listen to. So there's a lot of ways we can go with this. So I'm very excited for people to hear this project, to see all the different ways we can go with it.
But one thing I want to get back to is you saying, it's a lot of freaky people in the church. Now, did you ever do anything inside of the church that the Lord may not have approved of?
Let me think. Yeah, probably more than likely. I mean, I'm not gonna
Tell
lie
me a
to you.
story.
I remember there was a gym in my church, like a basketball gym, and I was on
Mm-hmm.
the church's basketball team. I was pretty decent. I played ball in high school, so the ladies were very interested. I definitely had a few makeout sessions under the bleachers.
Mm.
Uh, hallelujah fun night got a little fun, you know what I'm saying? So nothing crazy, like nothing out of control, but
Okay,
I
okay.
definitely kissed a few girls in the church, I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. We gotta watch you now.
Yeah.
Also, you can play a lot of instruments now. I seen you playing the piano. Is that something that you did learn from being in the church?
Yeah, I mean, out of necessity, my father was a pastor, so he didn't have some big mega church. I didn't start playing for and singing at mega churches till way later in my life. My father had a very small church, and we had the instruments that we had. And any given Sunday, a musician might not show up, so I kind of had to be prepared
You
to
was everything.
to play whatever. So that's kind of how it got started.
Right. And him being a pastor and everything, does he listen to your music now?
Actually, my father passed away
Oh,
last
I'm
year,
sorry.
but
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
Mhm.
I mean, he listened to my music all the time.
He
I would play
did.
it for him, and I
Mhm.
would, I would, share songs with him. I would sing songs for him before I even recorded them in the studio. So he was very, very much a part of my musical life, buying me instruments and
Really?
helping me
Yeah.
build a studio in my mom's house. So very much a part of my musical life for sure.
I love that because a lot of people's parents are actually not supportive. And when I seen that you actually majored in a form of music, a type of music, I know like sometimes that's hard and difficult for people because their parents are like, no, go to school for business or this, that, and the third. And you did, but kind of like music business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, how did that benefit you? Because a lot of people think, like, well, I want to be an artist. Let me just go straight to the studio. But you actually did the work and put in the work and you know the business. So how does that benefit you now?
I think it just helps me have higher level conversations easier. I respect so much the people that have built, the music business that we're in because I studied it. So it makes, having a conversation about deals and label, having
You know what
conversations
you're talking
with
about.
labels, it was very easy for me to have those conversations just knowing the business. So what I tell people all the time is, even if you don't go to traditional school like I did, study where you're going. Like, don't just show up and assume that your talent is going to be the only thing that brings you in the door. Like, really study the people that you're talking with, that you want to impress, and study what the best ways are to get their music to those people. So yeah, just knowing the business. You don't have to go to college to know the business. You can get on the internet and know the business.
Oh no, that's right. But do some kind of work. Don't
Do
just
some
show up
research.
talking
Yeah,
about I
don't
can
just show.
rap and then think that everything's gonna be all good.
Yeah.
Well, also you were on The Voice.
Hmm.
Now you were on The Voice, and Pharrell, you was part of his team. He was one of the people that showed the most interest in you. And so when it comes to like the singing competitions and things of that nature, do you feel like there's a stigma on the people that come out of there? Does it help? Does it hurt? How does that work?
I mean, I think the stigma is only there if you allow it to be. I think, obviously, if you get an opportunity to share your gift with millions of people, sometimes multiple times a week, like, that what I mean, I don't know how that could hurt you. You
Right.
know, I think the voice for me personally gave me a lot of confidence. It taught me a lot of things that were missing in my arsenal, like how to perform and prepare to perform when that camera is on. And I think that is something that you can't get anywhere else. The only way you can practice performing is to perform. So
That's right.
any opportunity that you have to be in front of that many people, I can't imagine it being a bad thing. So the stigma sometimes is, you know, you get on these shows and it feels very how do we say, it feels very forced. You
Yeah.
know, it's like they're forcing somebody on America, but it's not
Hmm.
just that. Like if you take a step back and look at what the artists are dealing with, they're learning how to be professionals in that space. And
Hmm.
so if the artists that are on the show, anybody that's on there now, a big takeaway from it from me was, hey, we're getting this opportunity to share our gifts with the world. Let's take it, let's breathe that in for a minute and really take home what the goal is from that show. The goals have to change. A lot of people want to win the show. I really want to take away how to perform and get really, really good at killing every time the camera was on me. So that's what I got from it. And I encourage anybody that's on the show not to think about the win, but think about everything else that you're going to get from it: the mentorship, the preparedness, and the performances.
Did somebody approach you about doing this show, or was it just something that you was like, you know what, let me try it out?
So when I lived in New York, I auditioned a lot just on a whim. Like I would go to work and then I would tell my boss like, "Hey, The Voice is auditioning. Can I go and audition?" And finally, my boss, who got tired of me going and auditioning for things, was like, "I actually know somebody that might be able to get you a casting audition."
No way.
So I was very lucky. I got a casting audition. I killed that casting audition. Actually, that's not even the one that got me on the show, but it got me the relationship with the casting people. So that's a lesson for anybody that's trying to get on. Like just because you didn't get it the first time doesn't mean that those people don't see you, that they don't hear you. Casting is a very weird thing. The casting directors could literally be looking for a guy in a blue hat and a blue top, and you're
Hmm.
not that guy or girl that day. But 2 years later, I get a phone call from the same casting director. And was
Wow.
like, can you come down to Austin? I was living in Dallas at the time. Can you come down to Austin and audition? And that's kind of where it happened. So 2 years in the making, you know, of auditioning, and then I finally got the call. So
Do you still speak to that manager? Like, are y'all in touch? Because
I
kind of hooked
haven't
you
talked.
up.
I haven't talked to the manager it was one of my managers at MTV. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I still keep in touch with the casting director, and they're still friends.
So you used
So
her. No, I'm
yeah,
joking. I'm joking.
no. She actually was.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, I'm sorry. She actually was excited to give me that opportunity. You know,
Yeah.
I worked really, really hard at MTV. I was a student of the game. I was always on time. I don't care what they say. I was always on time, and I always did my work. So she felt confident enough to give me that opportunity. She knew I wanted to sing. Everybody who's ever been my boss, from from a child on to adulthood, knew that this was what I was going to end up doing. So they always kind of helped me get to that path. I've only had one boss that was a hater, and
Oh, really?
they shall remain nameless.
Why was they a hater? What did they?
Really, because they came in at a time where I was kind of the only person working. They were new to the
Mm.
system, and I was kind of there. So there was a rub between us because I kind of knew what was going on at that point, and they came in to try to be a boss. And then they found out that I had a talent, and they always like was cracking jokes about it.
Oh,
You
yeah, that's
know,
corny.
yeah, they were corny as hell, but you know. I saw them the other day. Actually, now they're the manager of a store, and I went in there and I racked up on
I
them.
know that's right.
So
Uh-huh.
that was cool. So that was a cool karma moment for me.
Right. So
Yeah.
what did you do over at MTV?
I actually worked in two departments. So I started out as an intern, and I worked in the award show department, and
Wow.
then I moved on to be a contractor for the advertising side, which is what kind of pushed me into learning about marketing and advertising. But I was on the side, basically the dollar side of advertising. So allocating the budgets for how much money like Gillette would get.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So now, what's your relationship with Pharrell moving forward past the show?
Yeah. Um, I've worked with Pharrell beyond the show. I worked on a beautiful campaign with his company, I Am Other and Old Navy. We did a 8-song campaign.
Wow.
It won a Cannes Lion Award. Pharrell, I was very lucky. He and his team let me be the lead producer on it. So it was really cool. And then, you know, I've done some writing sessions with him. I shoot him music back and forth. I feel like at every major turn in my career, I've been able to text him and tell him this is what's going on. He's always had a positive word for me. When my father died, he picked up the phone and called me. So that means a lot to me to have that kind of mentor. I love the kind of mentor that he is.
Absolutely.
He doesn't give you all the answers, but he definitely shows up when you need him. So
That's really cool. And now you're in the building with the big man, and that's Hove. You're at Roc Nation.
yeah.
How did that come about? Did they approach you?
So it's funny. I used to tour with another Roc Nation artist, Vic Mensa, and met some people there. And so met some people at the label, but obviously this is my friend's gig. He's the artist signed there, so I wasn't about to encroach on that. I wasn't about to be like trying to put myself on. It was super random. I connected with the A&R just on some personal life stuff, and I saw him walking in Soho one day, and it was the day after Chance's album came out. And I was like, bro, I got 10 records
I
on
know
this
that's right.
on this project. Like, check it out. And he called me and was like, come to the office tomorrow. We need to talk to you. So
That's
like
dope.
I had all these records. That's the biggest thing for me, the biggest lesson that I learned in the independent hustle is always be prepared. Have these songs ready. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't sleep on them. Don't, you know, not finish the second verse. Like get these songs ready. And I came to the listening meeting, played them the records that were on my laptop, and they loved it. They wouldn't let me leave the building. And I'm so glad because it's really like at the top of my list. Rock was one of the top labels of my dreams and hopes. And I have such a major respect for Hove and the team at Roc Nation, especially on the A&R side. They really choose career-long artists, and I'm glad to be one of them.
I think that's amazing. And then you release your record, your single, and it's called Cream.
Yeah.
Now, cream. So you making these women cream out here is my understanding to this
Well,
song.
I mean, that's one understanding.
Okay, so you tell me the other one because I got a dirty
I'm not
mind.
going to deny that. That's one way to look at it. But the other part, I mean, I always tell people to listen to the bridge of the song. And not only is it a sexy song, not only is it a sexual song, but I feel like it's an empowering song too. One of the lines in there that stands out to me the most is "You're a fountain full of divine truth, and
Love it.
I'm just here to remind you." So it's like I can step away from the situation and look on and just let you know that you're beautiful. Also, I want to touch you and love you and you know be on that with you. But also when we're not doing that, just a reminder for you, you're the divine truth. Like, and that's the most important line to me in the song. If I could have, I would have repeated it a bunch of times, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the affirmations in there that really really stand out to me. And you know, the cream, that's nice. That's a nice bonus. You know what I'm saying?
Well, a line I heard in there was talking about becoming one. Now, becoming one, that means, you and her one. So has it ever become 3 or 4? Have you ever been that busy in the bedroom?
I have not been that busy. I'm still a church boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
A freaky church boy sometimes, but never that. You know, the conversations have come up before.
Hmm.
You know, a girl would ask me what my fantasies are, but it's never really happened, not yet. So we'll check back in with me. I'll
Okay,
let you
you got
know.
to put that up on the bucket list.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
So okay, you also said make it purr. You know what I'm saying? You said, right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. I want
Okay,
to hear you
so
purr for me.
I want to know what's the craziest thing you've ever heard in the bedroom?
Oh, geez. Craziest? I don't know. I feel like I'm not a big talker. So when you're not a big talker, like you don't get a bunch of conversation back. I'm more like the song. The song has a lot of like pauses and breaths. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the sexiest part of sex, like catching your partner's breath or trying to sync your bodies up with. So that's the becoming one with me. It's
Right.
like I don't hear too many crazy things. You've heard like the, let's get married, want to have your babies and shit, but I haven't
Yeah, or
really.
like I love you. How about that? Like what if it's somebody that like it's you thinking it's like some one night stand kind of thing and you
I've
go,
heard that.
you have?
Yeah,
Do
I've
you
heard.
say it back?
No.
What do you say?
I you either find a new move to change the position, you know what I'm saying, or you don't really. I'm not a big fan of saying I love you if I don't mean it. Like
Right.
very few people in my life got that I love you out of me. Outside of like family and friends, just because I don't want to play with people's emotions, because
Well,
that
you
that
shouldn't.
that word is those words are very strong, especially when you're in the act, of doing that. So I
Right.
don't want to mess with people's heads.
So do you cut the girl off after that because she's a little too attached or what do
Nah,
you do?
nah. I will say this: there has been a situation in my former life where the "I love you" happened in the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
then we found that we loved each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
so it just
Happy
happened.
ending.
Happy ending, But I definitely I wouldn't recommend cutting it off. Especially it's wintertime too. It's cuffing season. Like you might just want to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation afterwards and be
Has
like, hey,
anybody ever gone like a little bit crazy on you? Like as far as like maybe once you laid it down, now they're like calling you all the time. Has that happened?
yo, that's so crazy. Yeah, I've had that situation. I've had like cookies and flowers and shit show up in my apartment, which was
Really?
weird. Like because I don't remember giving this person a key.
No.
Yeah, so I've had that before. I've had to change the locks before. Yeah,
That's
I've had some people
scary.
show up to events that were not invited at all. They just popped up on me and was like, "What's up? Why you not answering my phone calls?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's been a few, but the craziest one was definitely like I walked into a brand new place. Like I had only been there for a week and I hadn't seen this girl in that place. And inside of my apartment was cookies, flowers, and a note welcoming me to the city. It was a little weird, but
What? Well, you got to stop making them cream and maybe they won't be going so crazy over you. So, with that being said, with gifts, right? We got Valentine's Day coming
yeah.
up around the corner. And you said something pretty interesting that I didn't think of. Do men like flowers for Valentine's Day? Should women buy their man flowers or what would be a good gift that he would expect?
Okay, here's my thought on flowers. I think men do not ever expect to get flowers.
Hmm. But
And
do y'all like them?
yeah, I mean, I've gotten flowers before and I really, really appreciated them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also like, I'm a man. If you got me some roses, I'm definitely gonna flip that back on you and use them roses in a different way
Ooh.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Salt Bay with the roses.
Right, right, right. So I don't think men hate flowers. I don't think men hate candles either. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if your guy lives by himself and, want the apartment to feel nice, have some nice aromas in there. You never can go wrong with a pair of Jordans on Valentine's Day. Um, and cologne.
Yes.
I'm a big cologne guy still. That's a very traditional gift. Like I'm not a gamer or nothing, so like I don't expect a PS5, but if you come up with a good Byredo cologne or a Margiela cologne or something, then I'm kind of into those gifts. But flowers are
Nice.
never a bad thing. Everybody likes flowers.
Okay. And what about give the ladies a little bit, give the fellas a little bit of a tip? That's something that, not the same old stuff. What's something that you romantically would do because you're romantic. So,
Yeah.
what's something that you would do?
Man, first things first is always pay attention. Like you should be if you're just thinking about Valentine's Day right now, you're a little late. But
Yeah, you're too late.
just in case you're late, first things first, flowers, cards, candy, R&B staples, instant gratification there. Don't
Hmm.
be cheap with the candy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Get some gourmet stuff. Another thing that I've discovered that's really, really helpful is picking a good wine and maybe cooking at home or having the catering done at home.
That's nice. Yes.
The big thing, you just don't know. Like, I mean, I've dated some women, you know, not a lot of women, just a few.
Mm-hmm.
All of the women that I've dated have very stressful day to days. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think as a guy, sometimes we underestimate how stressful those day to days are, and not having to think about what you're gonna eat, what you're gonna drink, you know, who's gonna run the bath. Like, those are little things that can get you big points down the line.
That's true. And the
Also,
last, go ahead, go
foot
ahead, go
rub.
ahead. No.
Also,
Also,
a little foot massage.
yeah, we
That
let those.
energy. See what I'm saying? I already know.
Okay, are you in a relationship right now?
I like to keep my love life private. I just like to write love songs. So
Okay.
you know, I just like to keep all of that private. I like to keep my family life very private, as private as I can. So
I wait till I see you on a blog with somebody at
yeah,
the movies or something.
somebody gonna leak it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and my last question for you. We talked about what to get for your boyfriend, what to get for your girlfriend. What do you get for the side piece on Monday, the next day?
Yikes. Hopefully, if you're a good dude, you're not getting nothing for the side. But if you do got a side piece, you better make sure that that side piece is far away, because what happens on Valentine's Day, or anytime you give a girl a good gift, or you giving her some good, you know, some good love,
Mm-hmm.
she gonna be stuck to you like glue for at least 2 to 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really go nowhere. I wouldn't Venmo, Cash App, nothing. I wouldn't do none of that close to Valentine's Day for your side piece. I will wait. Just let Shorty know, like, I got you, but my woman is like literally next to me if you gonna do that.
Yeah. So you're smart. I know guys that'll buy all these girls the same thing and
Man,
then like give them. And then when the girl posts it, she finds out because she's like, I got that too. So now they're mad.
best advice, just don't have it. Don't have that energy. If you got a day one that's riding with you, you got a rider, ride with the ride. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess up your house trying to have more than what you need at the
I
time.
think that is the perfect ending right there. Be faithful and you don't have to worry about spending extra money on the side piece.
I'm with Charlemagne. I'm with the
Oh
black men
God,
don't
black men
cheat.
don't cheat.
Yeah.
See, now that makes you sound like a cheater.
Nah, I'm not. I promise.
Okay, well, let the people know where they can support you, where they can follow you, and all that good stuff.
Word. So I'm Dixon, Dixson, everywhere. And I have a song out now called KREAM, and the project is actually coming Valentine's weekend 2/12. So yeah, go pick it up everywhere.
Just in time for Valentine's Day and Side Chick Day or
Ah,
Side Piece Day. So they could get in the mood and make them cream and then feed them their chocolates. And I just think it'll be amazing.
it's gonna be a good Valentine's. I'm really excited about it.
I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. Congratulations on everything. And that's Dixon, y'all.